Hello class, this is your teacher Mr. McDougall, and in this Photoshop tutorial I'm going to show you how to create a fire effect. We're going to add fire to subject like this one. I'm going to show you how to give me these cool fire superpowers. So, as always, download today's exercise files for this practice classwork and open them all up in Photoshop. Take a moment to do that, pause the video if you need to, and open everything up so I can show you how to make the cool fire effect. So you'll see what you have is you have this first one, the fire subject, which is me, and you have these 4 different fire elements. So I gave you a variety to play around with. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to edit each arm separately. So I'll show you one arm at a time, and then I'll let you practice with the other one. So let me show how that's going to work. The first thing we're going to do is duplicate our background layer twice. So Control J to duplicate it. Name one of the layers left for the left arm and the other one right for the right arm. It doesn't really matter which one is which, and you're going to start with just one, and then we're going to repeat the process on the other one. So the first thing you're going to do, let's just pick one arm to start with. I'm going to start with the left one, but feel free to start with one of the other ones. I'm going to start with the left, so the first thing I need to do is I'm going to select and mask out the left arm. So let's go to our quick select tool. The select subject wouldn't work in this one because it would select the whole thing, and I don't want to select the whole thing. I just want to do the arm. So I'm using my quick select tool to select the arm itself. Come in here, clean that up, make sure you zoom in. This is why you need to know how to use the quick select tool, as I mentioned a couple assignments ago, because you'll still need to do that for something like this when we're not selecting out the entire subject. Make sure we deselect this part. So take your time, make sure your selection is clean. Gotta clean up right here between the fingers. This part might be a little tricky. Try to get you. Make it as clean as you can. There we go. That looks good. We don't really need to use select and mask here because we're not dealing with hair or anything. We're just dealing with the arm. Alright, so the left arm is looking masked out. Right about there. Good. Perfect. So now that I have the left arm selected, make sure I'm on the left arm layer. I don't want to be on the background or the right arm because that would be the wrong one. Now we're going to add a layer mask. So you can see the arm has been masked out all by itself if I hide these other two. Alright, so now what you're going to start doing is we are going to start adding some of these fire elements. So I'm going to go back to my move tool. And so you have a whole variety of fire elements to play with right here. I gave you these 4. So start picking some of the fire elements, and we're going to add it to the image. So either select all and copy paste, or just drag and drop right here. I'm going to drag this one. I'm going to put it right here. Depending on the layer, this might happen. What happened is the image is there, as you can see, but it's hiding behind this layer. So I'm going to turn this layer off for a second so I could see. So now I can see that the fire is there. I'm not going to turn these into a smart object because we're going to bend them around a lot. So I'm going to move this. Let's say this is coming out of my hand. All of the elements have this black background to it. So what you need to do first is change the blending mode. So to do that, you can double click on it to come to the blending mode, or a slightly faster way is to come right here above it. So with the fire level selected, if I come right here to where it says normal, this also brings up the blending mode options. And you can see how I changed the blending mode. For all of the fire elements, I want you to use screen. Pick the screen one. Don't just mess around with all of them, because as you can see, some of them make really weird effects. Use the screen one to get rid of the black edges, and now you just see the fire by itself. So now you can move this around, and we can change the layer order. So right now it looks like it's just kind of on top of my hand, but if I want it to go behind the thumb, I just need to move it to underneath the left arm that I cut out. So take this layer, move it down, and now it looks like it's in the palm of my hand. Kind of looks like that. Perfect. So now to do the same thing with some of the other ones. Bring the other ones in. Let's add to it. Let's bring this one in. Just start bringing the different fire elements in, shaping it around the arm however you like. Maybe go with that. Let's change the blending mode to screen. All of them, they're going to be changed to screen. You can rotate them. You can change the size. You can put it however you like. Just beware of layer order. See, if I put it underneath, it looks like it's going on the underside of my arm, or I could have it go on the top of my arm, kind of like that. That looks cool. We can also bend it with the warp tool, which we haven't used in a while. So I put that here. Just kind of mess around however you want. I'm going to go with this one right here. Remember, if we go to the warp, edit, and then transform warp, we did this a while ago. Now I can kind of bend it a little bit too if I want it to kind of stretch more. If it's not fitting around my arm the way I like, I could do it kind of like this. That looks cool. So just have fun kind of messing around. I'm going to do this one more so I can have the fire kind of blasting out of my hands. As always, set it to screen. And let's mess around with this a little bit right there. Kind of want to have it like that. And again, put it underneath so it looks like it's on the other side in my palm. Perfect. So get it the way you like. Add a little bit more flames to it, whatever you want to do, that's totally fine. The one thing we're going to add to the arm itself is a glow. So if I zoom in right here, so go to the left arm layer or whichever arm you chose, and then we are going to go to FX and we're going to add an inner glow to it. We're going to keep it subtle. It's going to look like that possibly to start, but that's not what we want. We want to mess around with it. So we're not going to have it like that. First, we're going to pick a warmer color. So let's maybe pick like a warm color, like a red, orange, or a yellow, something that the fire would actually give off. And we're going to make it pretty small. Have it come from the center. You may need to increase the choke and the size a little bit because we don't want it to look too crazy. And then we're also going to have to turn the opacity way down. We're going to turn this way down because we don't want it to look fake, like my arm is just a whole color. We want it to be very subtle. You can see there's just a very subtle glow in the arm now. Just kind of mess around with these sliders just a little bit so it looks like there's the slightest glow to it. Perfect. Excellent. And now, to fix this part right here, since I masked out the entire arm, I'm just going to brush my mask down a little bit. I'm going to click on my mask, and then I'm going to go to my brush tool. So set it to black to hide a little bit more, and I'm just going to very lightly brush right here. Got to be careful, you don't want to click too fast. Just very lightly brushing down now. And you can see what's starting to happen is I'm trying to just brushing the mask away very slightly. So I'm just kind of brushing it down because I want it to come more into my forearm. Right about there. Not too strong of a glow. Again, it's a little too strong. If I go back to the inner glow, I might turn it down a little bit. I want it to be subtle. I want it to look realistic. That's looking cool. Right there. Alright, so now you're going to do the same thing on the other arm. So repeat the exact same process you just did. First, we're going to use this layer. We're going to mask out the arm. So we need to go to our right arm layer, quick select it, and then start adding all of the fire elements the exact same way we just did, and we'll even add the circle as well. So I'm going to speed through that, but do that part exactly the same as we just did. Alright, so as I mentioned, create the same effect, repeating what I just did. I masked out the arm and I added whatever fire elements I wanted. You can add a little bit more in a different order. You don't have to add it the same way. And then we're going to add the fireball right in the middle to finish it off right there. Same thing, change it to screen. Put it right in the center. That's looking cool. So now it looks like I'm bringing the fire together into this ball. One last thing we're going to do to really sell this effect is we're going to add a glow to it, because if there was actual fire coming off here, kind of like the inner glow of my arm, it would be creating this glow on my body. So we're going to add a new layer. So click right here to add a new layer. Make sure it's on the very top, whatever this brand new layer is, it's on the top. And now we're going to use our brush tool. So go to your brush tool, pick your foreground color to be one of the warm colors. So again, like a red or an orange or any of these colors you see right here. I'm going to go with that one. Make a giant soft brush. Make sure your hardness is at 0 and make sure your brush is pretty big. And we're just going to very lightly click right here on the body and chest, kind of like that, very lightly. And obviously that looks fake. The only thing we need to do is change the blending mode. So come over here to blending mode. And again, I want you to pick a specific one. Pick overlay right here. Pick this overlay one. So now it looks like the fire is giving off heat, like it's kind of burning this. This still looks a little strong. So I want you to also drop the opacity of this layer. So this red layer right here, I'm going to turn the opacity down a little bit, and you can see it's starting to become a little bit more subtle, just like that. So now it looks like it's creating this red glow on my neck. So you can see how many crazy layers we got going on right here, and we'll do a couple more in the next assignment. So however you gave me fire powers or firearms, make sure you had fun with it. Take your screenshot of your whole workspace so I can see all your crazy layers you got going on over here, and then add your screenshot to today's assignment. Okay, have a lot of fun with that. Let me know if you have any questions.